KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Tano Program. Cars Plus, home of Guam's first and only lifetime limited powertrain warranty. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurants, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Coming up on Prime Time, the wait list for Gura Section 8 housing nears 6,000 applicants. Plus, testimony during today's public hearing on bills to cancel the primary election is divided. National Lacanto has that story. And an informational briefing was held today to discuss the impact of clearing cultural sites known as Litexan and Magua.
Hafidang, good evening. I'm Adriana Cotero. We begin with the latest COVID-19 data for the island. For the second straight day, the Joint Information Center reports 0 positive COVID-19 cases. In total, 195 samples were evaluated by the various island health organizations, with none testing positive for the coronavirus. The number of active cases on Guam has gone down to 97, with 210 people released from isolation. There have been 312 cases in all since cases were first reported on March 15th. 5 people have passed away. Meanwhile, coronavirus cases continue to explode across the country, especially in the South and West. The U.S. has recorded more than 3.3 million cases and more than 135,000 deaths. Today, some governors imposed new shutdowns to help slow the spread. Chris Martinez has the latest from Los Angeles.
Florida recorded more than 12,600 new coronavirus cases today, after setting a record Sunday with more than 15,000. A leading infectious disease expert calls the situation extremely grave.
They have not taken it seriously enough. They have not wanted to adhere to the new normal guidelines.
Arizona's ICUs are nearly full, and the state is preparing for the outbreak to get much worse. In Texas, more than 10,000 people are hospitalized with COVID-19.
We're crossing or approaching hospital surge capacity day after day as a matter of course.
Officials in Houston are urging Governor Greg Abbott to reinstate a lockdown in their county.
All eyes are on Texas. All eyes are on Harris County. We have to continue to step up.
Today, California, the nation's most populated state, tightened restrictions, making certain indoor activities off limits again.
Restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms, movie theaters, family entertainment centers, zoos and museums, card rooms, and the shuttering of all bars.
The governor also shut down gyms, places of worship, offices, hair salons, barber shops, and indoor malls in 30 counties, covering 80% of the state's 40 million residents. The Los Angeles Unified School District, the nation's second largest, announced students will not return to classrooms and instead learn online when school resumes in August. Oregon reported more COVID-19 cases in the past week than in the entire month of May. Now people who cannot properly social distance are required to wear a mask outdoors. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
The 5th and largest batch of pandemic unemployment assistance is due out next week, according to the governor's office. About $54 million has been drawn down by the Labor Department for cleared claims through June 24th. Nearly $35 million will be paid through electronic transfers and $14.5 million will be in paper checks. DOA says banks should expect to receive direct deposits by Monday. Checks will be mailed out on Wednesday since Tuesday is a holiday. And to date, more than $195 million in unemployment assistance has been paid out. Attorney Tom Fisher is taking the matter back to court, and now the Superior Judge Elise Iriarte is commanding Attorney General Levin Camacho to disclose the documents Fisher requested through a FOIA request or explain reasons for not having to do so. According to Attorney Fisher, the documents are public records that are in the possession of the Attorney General's office that may include conversations between the AG and the government of Guam on topics concerning double pay to GovGuam employees who worked the front lines during the pandemic. Today, the Superior Court of Guam has issued an alternate writ of mandate to AG Camacho, explains Attorney Fisher.
Made the FOIA request and they complied with approximately 4 pages of redacted communication that was recorded on WhatsApp. And in turning those documents over, they also admitted that there were many more that also that fell under the request, but they simply weren't going to turn them over. And they cited certain reasons for not doing so. I don't think any of those reasons are valid. They need to be more transparent. I mean, of all of the divisions and entities of the government of Guam, you would expect that the Attorney General's office would be the most transparent. Unfortunately, that's not the case. They are essentially stonewalling and don't want to turn the documents over.
According to court documents, the OAG must submit the documents by July 23rd at 3 p.m. KUAM reached out to the OAG for comment, and spokeswoman Carlina Charfra said, quote, "We do not have a response at this time," unquote. Testimony was split today on a pair of bills to cancel the primary election in whole or in part. Nestor LaConta reports.
Senators delayed last week's emergency session so they could hear public testimony on Senator Joe San Augustine's bill to cancel the primary voting for uncontested races and Senator Jim Moylan's bill to cancel it entirely. Ken Leon Guerrero, himself a candidate, supports cancellation to put public safety first, he says.
I think it's in the best interest also to keep in mind that, we have a government that is going to be hamstrung financially. And if we can keep the people safe and reduce operating costs at the same time, I look at that as a win-win for the government and for the taxpayer.
Republican leader Juan Carlos Benitez, testifying as an individual voter, says it wouldn't be fair in particular to the GOP's congressional candidate.
If we do not hold this primary, we will be holding debates where two Democrats will be able to be provided the same amount of time that our Republican candidate will be provided to participate in those debates. Double teaming our one individual, and I think that's unfair.
He says it won't save money anyway because he believes a runoff will be required if no one gets 50% plus one of the voting. But university professor and former election commissioner Ron McNinch says federal statute makes no mention of a primary, just a general election.
It goes on to say the delegate shall be elected at large by separate ballot and by a majority of the votes cast for the office of the delegate. And if a candidate does not get a majority, then there's a runoff. So I believe that this specific section of federal law says a runoff is called for, not a primary.
Meanwhile, Election Commission Director Maria Pangilinan took no position, but reminded senators that absentee ballots must be mailed out by tomorrow, 45 days before the scheduled primary.
The GEC is prepared to conduct the 2020 primary election as prescribed by current Guam law.
The legislature is scheduled to meet in session tomorrow to debate the bills. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor LaConta.
Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority's waitlist for Section 8 housing was open for 5 days, starting Monday of last week and then closed by Friday. According to GURA Director Rota, the agency received more than 9,000 attempts to apply for the Section 8 lottery in the short time frame. He says this is far greater than any previous records, with the last waitlist opening reaching in the 6,000 range.
We believe that the increase in numbers is directly related to the pandemic. As you know, some people may have lost their jobs, and so they just want to get on that Section 8 wait list. But, again, it's just the wait list, and it's done through a lottery, a computer-generated lottery. So what the lottery does is it narrows it down to 1,800 from 9,200. And then that 1,800, that's the wait list that we select from with respect to our Section 8 program.
GURA currently has a waitlist open for public housing in Guma Tranquilidad, making for a collective waitlist of about 4,520 amongst all the agency's various programs. Tapasna adds they anticipate the waitlist to grow as the government has recently opened the emergency shelter for the homeless.
There's as many as 30 families that are currently housed there, so we hope to use some of our funding to see how we can benefit those families with respect to maybe or possibly transitional housing, and at some point, if they qualify, permanent housing.
Again, the new Interagency Council for the Homeless is holding their first meeting on Thursday, July 16th at 11 a.m. Senators held an informational briefing Tuesday to discuss the impact of clearing of cultural sites at Anderson and Marine Corps Base, known respectively as Lictexan and Magua. Senator Sabina Perez and Therese Terlahi jointly chaired the hearing and stressed their beliefs that historic places should be left as is or preserved in place. State Historic Preservation Officer Patrick Lujan offered an example of a burial site that's located on what's intended to be a parking lot at the Marine base.
And I told them to move their parking lot. So, you know, and respect that one burial that we found. The governor came out and took a look, and she asked if there was other burials around the area, and that's unknown. But with this one particular one, I think we're gonna, you know, I don't think, I know that they're not going to remove it, and I know that we're going to enforce the preservation in place and put together a nice reburial monument.
He says they're seeking to amend the programmatic agreement with the military to emphasize on-site preservation rather than removing artifacts or remains to be preserved elsewhere. Also testifying was archaeologist Mike Carson, who explained the significance of the Lake Texan site, in particular as a site where they've learned new information and how it relates to traditions that still exist to this day. Lake Texan is being cleared for the construction of a live fire training range complex, and a MOG is for the Camp Bloss Marine Base main cantonment. Stick around for more news here on Primetime. You're watching KUAM.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
That's when Lil' Mama came to stealing looks. Whoa, she off the rate, the scale, she had me shook. Yeah, but if you single tonight and can't find your friends, then I hope you don't mind me asking. Do you wanna dance to the music? Do you wanna rock to the beat of the drum? And we could cut it up, cut it up, cut it up, cut it up. Baby, we should cut her up.
Social distancing may be the new norm, but connection will always be our tradition. Through good times and tough times, we remain connected with you. Masks may be the new fashion, but protection will always be our style. You can always count on us to protect the things that matter the most. Sanitizing may be the new routine, but caring will always be our practice. We care about your loved ones and the things you value the most. And as we welcome our new normal, one thing remains certain: we will always be here for you. We're open and ready to serve you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
In this time of change, there is one thing we can do together. Respond to the 2020 census of Guam. Every response will help Guam get the resources we need for healthcare, education, emergency services, infrastructure, and so much more. These resources are critical to the growth of our island for the next 10 years and beyond. We cannot do it alone, but together we can make a difference. Let's start now.
I am a senior citizen. I get to stand in line ahead most of you in government offices, and I get cheaper coffee. I served 10 years in Congress in the last century, and I served 10 years as president of the university in this century. I can tell you about handing out 7,000 diplomas at the university, returning almost $2 billion worth of land from the federal government, or starting the National Guard Readiness Center at Barragata. But that experience doesn't make me qualified to be your congressman today. Age and experience are valuable, but understanding ordinary lives, commitment to social progress, and integrity are still the major qualifications for Congress. Youth and vigor in the wrong direction is a greater danger than age and experience, especially in these times. I'm Robert Underwood. I may be ahead of you in line, but I'm behind you all the way. I'm Robert Underwood, and I approve this message.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. Joshua John Untalan Mesa was sentenced to 51 months in federal prison with a 5-year supervised release term. But before he sent off island, Chief Judge Francis Tidinko Gatewood granted his wish to marry his wife. 41-year-old Joshua John Untalan Mesa entered a plea agreement back in December 2019 and pled guilty to conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance. He was arrested during an April 2018 controlled delivery to an Agana Heights cluster box that the feds replaced 50 grams of meth with sham. During a sentencing hearing this afternoon, the defense, prosecution, and U.S. Probation Office recommendations were all in agreement of a 51 imprisonment term in which the court ordered. Further in court, Chief Judge Francis Tidinko Gatewood noted Mesa's heavy criminal history involving local court cases and crimes in Hawaii. The court stated, quote, "For someone so young, and I have you down for 8 convictions and 16 additional arrests." It was stated that he was arrested numerous times in Hawaii, however, never prosecuted. Additionally, the court noted throughout the course in the 27 months he's been behind bars, thus far, Mesa has found God and religiously participates in Bible study. Chief Judge telling him, quote, "Thank goodness, Joshua, I'd rather you turn to God and not drugs," unquote. Following, Mesa shared remarks during the hearing. Quote, "I stand before this court knowing my wrongdoings. I am guilty. I should not and will not commit this crime again. Please forgive me. I give all my glory to Lord Jesus Christ," unquote. Mesa finished his statement by asking the Chief Judge for one wish to grant him a 3-day furlough to get married and connect with his kids and wife. However, due to COVID-19 circumstances and further probation's objection, the court did not grant the furlough release. However, did agree to marry Mesa and his other half right then and there, where they stood social distance apart in her courtroom. More from District Court. They have granted Evan Montville Cohen's request for medical travel, but with conditions. The motion was heard this week. However, the matter was sealed due to health-related discussions. Montville Cohen faces aggravated identity theft and wire fraud charges for allegedly using one of his employees' personal information to rent an apartment in Tamuning last year. He pled not guilty and is currently on pretrial release to a third-party custodian. And according to court documents, after hearing arguments from both parties and testimony from an unnamed witness, Magistrates Judge Michael Bordalio permitted his travel to the Philippines for treatment. He must provide the government and U.S. Probation Office with written confirmation of his hospital appointment. Justin Farnham appeared for a return on a warrant hearing this morning before Judge Maria Senzon. Farnham was arrested in November of last year for allegedly trying to ram into his neighbor's car head-on. The victim told police officers Farnham had been harassing her for some time, and when officers located him, Farnham was uncooperative. He faces reckless conduct and resisting arrest charges as misdemeanors. In court, Judge Senzon stated he was on a return of warrant for a felony case that's to be heard in Judge Anita Sokola's courtroom tomorrow morning. And Judge Senzon scheduled a return for July 28th to hear the violations and ordered he remain in custody. The Pacific Association for Radiation Survivors continue to work with fellow downwinders from Idaho, New Mexico, and the post-71 uranium miners to amend the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act for those who were exposed to nuclear fallout and uranium mining. The people of Guam have suffered from cancer and other diseases due to nuclear fallout for many years, and PARS is hopeful that Guam's inclusion in RECA will bring most needed and deserved medical and financial assistance. PARS received confirmation from Senator Mike Crapo's office that they will be including 3 amendments to the National Defense Authorization Act 2020. These amendments would qualify Guam for RECA. And bright and early this morning, Matson celebrated the inaugural arrival of its second Aloha-class container ship, Daniel Inouye, to Guam with a water salute and welcome event at sea. The vessel made its inaugural arrival into the Port Authority of Guam. Bernie Valencia, Vice President and General Manager for Guam and Micronesia, said that Guam has been an important hub for Matson for close to 25 years and that the company will be celebrating their 25th anniversary in Guam and Micronesia in 2021. And what better way to show their commitment than to expand and reinforce its services and support for the island as it begins its economic recovery efforts. The company also announced that DKI will begin servicing the island as part of Matson's weekly scheduled service. Much of the cargo destined for Guam and Micronesia from 2 of Matson's U.S. mainland ports is relayed in Honolulu, and the addition of the ship-to-shore container cranes, deemed the largest in the industry, helped to relay cargo more efficiently to the islands. Daniel Inouye was named in honor of the late senator from Hawaii. He was a true champion of the U.S. Merchant Marine and is recognized throughout the maritime industry as one of its most powerful advocates. There's more primetime news when we return. Keep it here.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Más. King's welcomes you back with our King's Time value menus, full of great deals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We hope to see your family soon at King's.
For the Love of Burgers is back with 6 of our most popular burgers, each for just $9.99 for a limited time at Ruby Tuesday, Guam.
Take the party home with our new Get It To Go menu. Combo specials and kids meals, pizza, wings, and more. Now available for carryout at Chuck E. Cheese's Guam.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
For all those going out each day, doing what they can to hold us all together, we're here to help those helping us all by keeping our lights on.
On Saipan, CNMI Governor Ralph Torres held his first briefing since returning from a promotional trip to the Northern Islands with a YouTube vlogger. Our Tomas Manglona asked Torres for comment amid probes by the CNMI House Special Committee on Fiscal Review of Executive Expenditures and Special Committee on Federal Assistance in Disaster-Related Funding.
With the difficult time, are we better off today in our health than any other?
Governor, are you confident that your record, your expenditures will hold amid these investigations, amid this House panel probes?
Sure. I mean, when you look at this, I have discretions on how funds are being used. So I'm confident that the expenditures that was done was according to the law. And in terms of the federal programs or federal funds in regards to this pandemic, I'm absolutely happy that they're looking into that.
Torres reminded viewers that the CNMI remains one of the safest places in the world that is well equipped in its public health response. Mayor of Tinian, Edwin Aldon, says the community was in shock after news was announced of the first COVID-19 diagnosis for the island over the weekend. He tells KUAM today that the containment efforts are in full force.
Contact tracing for those individuals that they got in contact with. After CHCC provided us with confirmation who are these, we did that on Sunday, and also we're doing the secondary test contact tracing.
As we reported, the resident did transit Tinian, but immediately returned to Saipan for additional testing and monitoring at the Kanoa Resort facility. Tinian has also begun community-based village outreach, providing COVID-19 testing at various locations throughout this week. In his last report from Rota, our Tomas Manglona sits down with the local business owner of an iconic restaurant that is striving to stay afloat during COVID-19.
We decided to take the leap and stay open.
Pizzeria Bar and Grill has opened its doors to Rota residents for nearly 2 decades. COVID-19 put the business at risk. Operations Manager Jackie Manglona.
The kitchen staff had to take on more responsibilities, including answering phones, taking payments, and serving the customers their takeout.
With Dine-In Now allowed, they've also created a new website and are shifting their services online for the first time. She says they're at full capacity after rehiring 3 furloughed staff, making up their 7-member team.
We have had to collaborate with our staff members on what we could do to bring in more local resident business and cater to the local residents. We came up with promotions.
The change comes as she and her fiancé moved back to Rota after 21 years at the start of the pandemic, but they're not giving up.
Well, we want to continue to serve our island, and that's why it's important. It's one of the few places that was able to remain open, so we want to continue to serve our people.
Long-term local businesses like pizzeria continue to persist throughout the pandemic. Tomas Mangoña for KUAM News on Rota.
Don't go away, your birthday shoutouts are up next.
It's our network that has enabled the digital society that we all work, study, and live in every day. In Guam and the CNMI, the network connects us to vital services like hospitals and emergency care. Through it, we disseminate vital information that keeps you up to date. I'd like you to all know that we're totally committed to the network, and especially in trying times like these, we are all better together.
We are open to serve you at Cars Plus Guam. Need a quick service for your vehicle? Visit our express lane at Cars Plus. Done fast, done right. No appointment needed. Our service team is dedicated to helping you get your vehicle in and out of the shop and back on the road quickly and securely. Simply drop off your vehicle at our express lane driveway, and one of our service advisors will take care of it. Need a ride? Not to worry. We have a shuttle vehicle ready to drop you back home and pick you up when your vehicle is ready. Open Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Visit us today. We are open to serve you.
Taco Bell's new grilled cheese burrito is filled with nacho cheese sauce and a delicious 3-cheese blend. And even more melty cheese is grilled on top. Introducing Taco Bell's grilled cheese burrito box. Order ahead and pick yours up at our contactless drive-thru.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shoutouts from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
It is our mission to spread birthday love all over the world for anyone who has a birthday today. So happy birthday on July 14th to Zachary Menabusen from Las Vegas. We wish we could be there to celebrate your very special day, your family says. We love and miss you. Stay safe. Love you, Mom, Dad, and Nay. Zachary, hope you have a great happy birthday out in Sin City. And happy belated birthday wishes going to Peter Gay, born on June 13th. Happy birthday number 18. Congratulations on your high school graduation. Awesome. Wishing you all the best life has to offer. We love you, says your Barragata family. Good job, Barragata. Always love getting love from Barragata. Chong Camacho was also born yesterday, and wishing our Auntie Chong a happy 91st birthday. We love and miss you so much, and we hope you have a very special day. Say Jasmine, Carl, and Gracie. Samara Nicole, happy blessed sweet 16, Samara. May God bless you today and always from your Cruz and Paulino familia. Valerie Santos was also born yesterday, and happy birthday to Valerie. Love Zariah, Zane, Big Daddy Jake, and the whole entire family. And you know what? All of us here at KUAM, because Val, we love you and we hope you had a fantastic birthday. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, Ms. Betty Malachi, born on July the 10th. A sweet happy birthday of 55 years from your family and friends of Kumato Auntie Hadza Foundation. May you have a special and enjoyable birthday wish today and always. Age is just a number, they say. Happy birthday from all of us, and that's your entire family. And you know what? That includes everybody at KUAM, everyone at Cold Stone Creamery, and everyone on Guam, because we're all in this together, we're one big family, and we wish all of you the happiest birthday ever.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online on KUAM.com. Please make sure to include with your photo your name and birthday. That's going to do it for us here on Prime Time. Thanks for watching. Have a good night and be safe.
Now that we are slowly opening up, you're getting the kids back into the